Tonight, we carry on engaging former sports personalities who have experienced the good as well as the bad of what South African sport has to offer. Former Proteas Spinner Aaron Phangiso, good evening to you and welcome to Sports on the Full View.
Good evening and evening to your viewers.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight, Aaron. So I want to start at the beginning of your career. You were discovered in Soshanguve. Now tell us what that moment was like and the door it opened for you in terms of your schooling as well as access to facilities for you.
I was discovered in Soshanguve. I was discovered by a man called Hiro Ramohali, and I was discovered at the age of 12. That opportunity that he gave me, it opened a lot of doors for me. I was kind of used to the life of Soshanguve and just playing in the street. Soccer was my thing, So him introducing me to the game of cricket and me sort of getting a scholarship to attend Christian Brothers College Pretoria was a big thing for me. It got me to actually see a different world, the world of the privilege, if I might say it in that way. The world where if I think I stayed in Sosh and cricket didn't come into my life, I wouldn't have known. That was one of the things that came out of me moving out of Sosh. Just an opportunity to dream and see how other people live out there. I was privileged enough to have had an opportunity to be in a boarding school where facilities were close by me. I didn't have to walk hours and hours to train. Probably after lunch at the boarding school, you could actually just run down to the nets and have a session with your mates. So it just opened those kind of opportunities and to dream a bit bigger than what a normal township boy would have.
So now we've heard from some players saying that when you come from a disadvantaged background and you move into that scholarship role, you sometimes feel as though the treatment that you receive is not the same as other children in the school. Was this your experience?
Yeah, it's always an experience. When you sort of engage with people that don't know where you come from and that don't know your backgrounds. Like I say, a whole lot of people that are privileged, they don't know that I came from a shack. I spent a lot of my time in the shack and all of that, so they kind of I wouldn't say ill treat you, but they have never walked in your shoes. They sort of take you as one of those. I remember I used to be called a scholarship boy. I used to be labeled that. Used to be labeled in a way that I felt that me being there, obviously my parents were not paying school fees. I had to hear people tell me that, we would be doing or engaging in the same activities or get into sort of the same troubles, but because obviously the parents are not paying school fees and all of that, they get away with it, and then you're the one that's left hanging. So those kind of things played a major part.
Yeah, I want to now move on in your career. You were playing for the South African under-19 team with the likes of Faf du Plessis, AB de Villiers, JP Duminy. Surely at this stage you started to see cricket as a viable career option for you.
Yeah, to be honest, with the background I had a soccer background. My dad played soccer, my brother played soccer. Soshanguve was a township known for soccer. A couple of soccer guys come out of there. Your former Orlando Pirates captain, Lucky Lukwati. So me playing SA under-19, I was just playing for enjoyment, to be honest. I was kind of enjoying making friends. The one thing I liked about it was travel. I never really put myself, or I never really thought that much ahead that, look, this I can make a career, I can make a living out of it, because again, the background that I come from, my dad or my mom, my uncles never knew anything about cricket, so they couldn't really sit me down and say, look, you've got an opportunity here to to make something of yourself. I remember the one thing that they always pushed on was the fact that I got better education than my siblings and all of that. So they wanted me to almost pursue that route of going to study in a good institution and all of that. So after a while, I think when I moved into the Northern academies, that's when I could actually see, hanging around people that know more about the sport or that have the background in the sports. That's when I could check that, look, you can actually make a career out of this and you can make something of yourself.
And then from there, unfortunately, things went a bit south for you, and you found yourself at the Titans where your talents were not being used and you were in a peculiar position. Now, you've spoken in the past about incidents where batsmen would be given the ball ahead of you as the designated spinner. Tell us about your time at the Titans and how that affected you as a player and as a person.
Yeah, look, my time at the Titans was a tough one. It was very tough. Having struggled my days at school, obviously feeling that I didn't belong a bit at school because of obviously the inequalities of life and all of that. And you walk in an institution like the Titans where it was dominated by Afrikaans people or an Afrikaans culture. It was a very tough one because, and a lot of people actually ask me this. They say, where did your career start? You played at the Titans, and I always say to them, I didn't feel like I played for the Titans. I feel like I was a used player for the Titans, meaning I felt I played as a player of color. At no point when I played for the Titans, I felt that I made a contribution in the team. I felt that I was needed by the team. You mentioned that a lot of times guys used to bowl ahead of me. There were batsmen that used to bowl ahead of me, and you would think that having played for SA under 19, that's an achievement on its own. So guys would actually realize the talent that this guy has got something, but the way I think I was treated, not given that opportunity, was very tough. I remember the guy that was ahead of me was Paul Harris, and when he got selected for the Proteas, I was doing very well. I remember for the amateur team, but then there was a Rufi van der Merwe that turned from a wicket keeper into a spinner, and my stats were always better than him. The year before, I just got Player of the Year, for the amateur team and all of that. So the question was asked, I think the coach then was Mr. Richard Pybus. The question was asked, why you select why you select Rufi ahead of Pangi?
Yeah.
He couldn't give answers. I remember all he said was something like he could only go with what the amateur coach says. I presented my stats, put them on the table. I'm like, look, I'm the best spinner. I've been doing well. I've been waiting my time for Paul Harris to actually do well and get selected for the Proteas. But when the time came, someone else was chosen ahead of me. So those kind of things happened a lot in my career. And yeah, that's a struggle that I had to go through with the Titans. I mean, it's very sad to hear a guy like your Ethin Balati that's done so well for the Titans also obviously saying stories like that. Yeah. I remember I played with him where it took him ages for people to take him serious, doing well or not, it's one of those kind of struggles where we went through, that kind of culture where I think at a point, if Eddie was not playing, I was playing. So there was never a chance where I played in the same team as Eddie at the same time.
Okay, Aaron, I just want to stop you there a little so that we can get to the other discussion as well, because I do love the part of your life story where Dave Noseworthy comes knocking on your door while you're at the Titans and he offers you an opportunity at the Lions and you take this opportunity. Tell us more about what that then did for your career.
No, that did massive things. You know, Dave Nasworthy, he's one of the guys that I'll forever be grateful for. You know, he came in my life and he offered me an opportunity to showcase my talents. You know, he gave me an opportunity on the field. You know, I knew I played ODI games or whatever at the Wanderers, and I got in my overs. I got to make a difference in the team. You know, he treated me he treated me with in a way that I think each player would want to be treated. You know, I had value. I added value in the team. You know, he was honest with me in how he saw my future and how he wanted to transform the Lions, and he did a very good job when it comes to reviving people's careers. I mean, he revived Tammy Tolekile's career. You know, there's a lot of people that played under him that I know on this day they're very grateful.
Yeah. So then Dave moves on, and then Jeffrey Toyana takes you under his wing. He mentors you. Tell us more about the emotional state that Jeffrey found you in, and how he actually got to see you become a Proteas player.
Yeah, I think Jeffrey, in a way, just reaped the rewards of Mr. Nasworthy. You know, Jeffrey played a very big role because playing under Jeff, it was almost like I'm playing under a brother. Remember, I played with him together. We were together at the Titans. So it was it's like playing under a brother, playing under someone that actually understands you on and off the field. You know, there's a lot of incidents where I know a lot of other coaches don't understand when it comes to family commitments. Things like when you have to attend a family funeral, you know, you will say things like, my grandmom passed away, and then 2 weeks again, my grandmom passed away. But they don't understand where culturally you don't only have one or two grandmothers. Yes. We grow up in big families, you know what I mean? So Jeff understood that. So on and off the field, I could be myself. He just let me sort of just become myself, and he gave me that free role to express.
Okay, and as we wrap up here with you, Aaron, tell me more about how you feel about Jeffrey Toyana and recently Enoch Nkwe missing out on that Proteas head coach position.
Yeah, no, that's, for me personally, that's a bit disappointing to see guys like Jeff and Enoch that have done so well, you know, that have come through the system and proven themselves time and time again to miss out on such positions. I mean, listening to the president last night on Robert Marawa, you know, for me, I was a bit disappointed, because you get a guy that has met all his transformation targets in Jeffrey Toyana, that has produced Black African Proteas, that has won trophies, and for him to apply for a job like that and not get, it's a bit disappointing. I don't know what more that Jeff could have done, you know, for him to prove that he was a good coach. And now it's said that he's actually gone and is coaching an amateur team. And a guy like Enoch as well, that we always say that we need international coaches, international experience. For a guy like Enoch to come in and win 3 trophies in one season and not be looked at, you know, just be given a series where any coach in South Africa, if you were given that series to go to India, any coach in South Africa was never going to be successful. You look at how we've traveled India before, we've never done that well. So if it was Mark Boucher, if it was Otis Gibson having to tackle that tour on his first tour, it was sort of a setup to fail, you know, and it's very disappointing.
Thank you so much for your time tonight, Aaron. We really have learned a lot from you, as well as your experiences. Have a good evening.